Trainer Emily here, and this is Pookie, and welcome to Training Tip Tuesday. This week, as we continue our series on different types of training equipment, we're going to get started with leashes. After all, most states and cities, including Santa Fe, have leash laws, so they have certain requirements as far as bringing your dog in public on a leash and what the definition of a leash is. Most of the time when leash laws are talking about leashes, they're referring to a 6-foot leash of some kind. When I'm selecting a leash for myself, I like to feel them and feel what feels good in my hands, because if I'm going to be handling it a lot, I don't want something that's going to burn my hands or cause sores or ridges. I like things that tend to be soft. Some people like leather, and leather is soft, but it does require some extra care as far as you have to use leather cleaners and things. They do make synthetic leashes that are leather-like, but don't require as much upkeep, or you can go with your basic nylon or soy leash. Other types of leashes out there for specific types of issues. This is a long line here. Long lines you usually use when you're teaching things like recall, because you need the extra length so your dog can get farther away from you, and yet they're still under your control. Anything over 6 feet is, under most leash laws, are not defined as a leash. It has to be no longer than 6 feet, and usually that also includes those retractable leashes as well. So if you have one of those, when it's longer than 6 feet, you could be potentially pressing your luck as far as the law is concerned. Other types of leashes, if dogs are jumpy or mouthy or have a tendency to grab the leash and it's something that we want them to stop, in order to deter them from that, there are chain leashes out there. I don't really like the way chain leashes feel on my hands very much, but in certain circumstances, if I need the dog to stop biting its leash for safety reasons, I will use them. Lately, the newest thing out there is leashes that have multi-purpose uses in terms of stopping pulling. So this type of leash has an extra gadget on it where you can actually slip the rest of the leash in it after you wrap it around the dog's abdomen or chest, and it prevents the dog from pulling because you basically create both a harness and a leash with the same thing. Other leashes out there, this is a rope lead or a slip lead. Basically, they're useful for putting on the dog if you're going a short distance, like if you're transporting the dog from your car to the dog park or something. Some trainers use them for training. I'm not as big a fan of them for training because a lot of them don't have stoppers, so they can continually tighten around the dog's neck if you're having pulling problems or something like that. If you have more than one dog and want to walk them at the same time, there are specialized leashes as well as splitters, so you can divide the dogs, put 2 dogs on one leash. Do be aware, if you put 2 dogs on one leash, that compounds their ability to pull you. So it's best for dogs that are already trained how to walk nicely on leash, as well as dogs that don't pull very much and are maybe older and more likely to walk nicely without tangling each other up too much. And lastly, one of my personal favorite types of leashes are hands-free leashes. Sometimes you need the dog to be on a leash and close to you, and yet have to have your hands free to do things or handle treats or whatever you're doing. So there are leashes out there. Some of them come with their own buckles and belt parts, and other ones simply have a clasp that you clip onto certain spots. But basically it allows you to hang on to your dog without hanging on to your dog. So thank you very much. I'll see you next week when we talk about harnesses and different types of harnesses out there. And as always, feel free to post if you have any questions. See you later.